morning, Nigeria. You're tuned into P&B Sports Show where the pitch, the court, and the fans all have a voice. I'm your guy, Aroko Tom, and today we're bouncing from Ogun to Kigali, Rwanda. First off, it's the final day of the 8th edition of the National Private University Games happening in Babcock, Ogun State, and our correspondent, Abel Sunday, has been there from the kickoff until now. Let's bring him in. Abel, how far? How the vibe for Babcock today now?
Fine. Good morning, and how is Abuja this morning?
I'm good. Good morning. Abuja is fantastic. We are enjoying Wike and Tinubu at the moment.
Yes, I heard that they've allocated some money for you in Abuja home base.
For who? Not for us.
For Abuja home base.
For Abuja home base.
That's what I heard.
No, not
yes.
For. I don't know about that. Probably from Ogun, you've heard about it. So how?
Wike is working now. Wike has been sending money.
How is Babcock?
Babcock is just calm. It's calm this morning, and of course we're ready to kick off. That's it.
So today is the closing ceremony of the Nigerian Private University Games. How is the atmosphere? How do you feel? Are you tired?
I'm not tired. I think today we'll get to the climax of the game because we'll have just one game left, which is the football finals, and that will go alongside side by side with the closing ceremony. Just that's how it's being done. I think, or that's the tradition. That's how they do it here. Then it has been 8 days full of actions. I think later in the day, P&B TV, of course, will be here live, and we'll be. I will be giving analysis of how the games unfold from the first day, second, third, and fourth till the 8th day. I'll be giving analysis on that. But generally, I think it was all. But yesterday, let me briefly, because I know I don't have time, let me briefly give you what happened yesterday. I think the basketball finals was played yesterday between Veritas University Abuja and Abuad. And of course, you know now, Abuja need to come on top no matter what. You should know that. So Veritas did. Yeah, for the first time, Veritas won the basketball gold in Puga Private University Games. And of course, Lee City was hoping to see that they could do it the 3 times. You know, they did it back to back before. So they're thinking that they would have got to see that same Veritas that took them out at the quarterfinals. And it was just after Lee City is out, it was I think a smooth ride for Veritas University down to the finals, and they pushed the goal. Then, of course, there was a controversy yesterday when Lee City came back from Lee City was 2 goals up in the football games. Then I think second half they came back. it was a comeback, honestly, from what's his name again? Greg Gore.
It seems like we have Ronaldo and Messi in the team.
I'm telling you, it was a comeback. But by and large, Lee City, in that minute, they got the 3rd goal that took them to the finals. And this is the 3 straight finals in the football category for the. Then if you now go to the football, the volleyball, the same thing. It was also fully highly competitive rather. Then go to badminton court. They played all 3 yesterday, and it was awesome. The atmosphere was electrifying, and obviously today the closing ceremony. I think we are also having a get together. So I heard at the basketball court. I think the basketball family are having a get together this evening after the closing ceremony. So I think the 8th edition brought the glamour. I will not say anybody is a loser. Everybody that came here, they are all champions because they all gave everything, and that is what we want to see. We want to see friendship.
But not all champions are winners, Mr. Abel. Are winners.
Yeah, we can say that, but they are all champions for me. I think they are all champions because these student athletes, they gave it all. We enjoyed ourselves. You could see, make new friends, which is why the game is being organized at the first place. Having new friends and try to develop your game as well. So, and it all fall in place.
Okay. You've been talking about the closing ceremony. What should we expect from the closing ceremony?
Well, I think we are going to get the full action, the full glimpse of how they call Babcock University, and like I rightly said, you're going to start with with the football game. But before then, I'm going to do an analysis of how the game is going to turn out. I will have someone with me that is going to co-host, and then Oba with me. I think his name is Oba. So we're going to have, he's a journalist from Ibadan. So we're going to co-host, and we're going to talk about how the game is unfold. We'll have some student athletes that are going to come in also and give us their experiences, what they've had so far for the past 7 days, 8 days, I beg your pardon. Then we're also going to have some sport directors that are going to come in and also give us their own verdict. Then, of course, now we don't know who is going to host the next program. So maybe by that during that show, we're going to tell you how the next school where we're going to head to in 2027 for the next program. Then I think lastly, the medals table. By then, I'm going to also break down everything about the medals table, who is stopping, who is still there, and whatever can change, whether the football match will make a significant change in the medals table. Because one goal can push you up. So maybe if Lee City win, or if Lee City is not on top, if Lee City win, you can take him up, or you can change or take them down. So that dynamics will be break down during the analysis as we start hopefully by 10:30 this morning.
Okay. You've seen these young players, these student athletes play their hearts out either on the football pitch, basketball court, badminton court, volleyball court. You've seen them play their hearts out. What does this say about Nigerian student athletes and the way we merge education and sports in Nigeria today?
Well, it tells highly of our Nigerian athletes, but the problem we're having, I'll also go there. The problem we're having is we don't manage it well. We have the structure already, because having these games often every 2 years, you can go down and enhance talent. Because one thing is enough, is not enough for you to discover a talent, but again, where the bulk of the work is how you would nurture it and develop it and brand it. It's the branding that is the problem. We discovering talent is not even a problem for us. But how do we brand these players? I could tell you, or I could use an illustration. You can bring Ronaldo in. You tell me, if Ronaldo grew up in Africa, I don't think he'll get where I'm sorry to say that, but I don't think he will be where he is right now, because the branding and the PR is a very key factor. And I think that's a topic for another day, because the PR and the branding, those two things work very well. How do you brand a player? How do you equip these players? Because you will discover them. I was at Lagos 2 months ago or 3 months ago. They were doing youth athletics championship from secondary school, junior secondary. So we're seeing age of 13, 14, they were doing so well. Hurdles, 100 meters, 200, perfectly well. Okay, now I was discussing with somebody. I said, okay, when you see this, look at this, you will know that these children are talented. Why don't you just get them, pack them, all of them to one school where you can also put the eye on them, put them in a bubble. They are going to school also. They are also training. You have a very good coach that will nurture them. In the next 5, 6 years, those kids will be representing us in the Olympics. They don't at 18, 19, they will be in the Olympics. You don't even need to. There's no 2 weeks about it. We'll be winning medals. But the problem is that we don't even invest in the sporting sector. That's where the problem is. And you see, that is even the issue we have with Umpuga. For the past 8 years, this game have never been held till date. Are you there, Mr. Tom?
I'm here. I can hear you. Carry on.
Yeah. So till now, you see the game have not been. It's not until now when Babcock have to come in and rescue the situation out. But of course, the VP promised, and I think I'll be having him on the show later today. He promised that
we can't wait to have you.
Yeah, that later after this edition, of course, the next one there will be no any hiccup again. There will be no any break again. So 2 years is 2 years. After the next one is 2027, which of course the school is going to emerge today that is going to host. So like that. So that's the.
Okay. So we are going to hold the VP to his words. Thanks a lot, our ever reliable correspondent, Abel. You are always on point with the update. Ogun has been on fire all week, and we want you to bring that fire back to Abuja.
Of course. course, I'm coming to Abuja. First flight tomorrow. I'll be in Abuja, and of course, I'll be in the studio with you, hopefully.
Okay. All right, people, stretch your legs, sip your tea. We're taking a short break, but when we come back, it's all about the Tigers and their not so sweet bounce out of the Afrobasket. This is P&B Sports Show. Welcome back to P&B Sports Show. Joining me now is basketball analyst Moody from Delta State. And we are talking about the match that left Naija fans holding their heads. Nigeria's 91-75 quarterfinals defeat to Senegal at the Afrobasket. Moody, welcome on board. It seems like it's not the results we prayed for, but let's dive into the issues. How are you doing, Mr. Moody?
I'm fine, man. Good morning, and thank you for having me back here on this spot.
It's always a pleasure to have you. What is your opinion on the game that was played yesterday? Because Nigeria, it seems like they underperformed or they were outperformed.
Okay, the truth is, I think I'll go with they underperformed on the day. I won't say they were outperformed. They just underperformed. They have competitions like this, knockout stages of competition like this. On a day like that, the team that wins usually the team that just really brings their game. And so when you watch the match, especially in the first, second quarter, it was really neck and neck. It was back and forth. It was fairly. I think it was too.
Mr. Moody, are you there?
I think you. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, you are back online. Continue.
I think midway Senegal started playing gradually, and then we're not scoring. They were stopped. They just built a healthy lead, and they took control of the game. Because if you actually look at the game, there was nothing separating us. You'll be shocked at some point. Now, why were we actually down? No, I think on the one we did poorly was on the rebounding end. We didn't really rebound. I think that killed us to the rebounding end. We didn't rebound well, and we didn't really shoot the ball from this side. So it was just on like you said, we underperformed on the day. I don't think we should overreact as a country and as a federation.
Okay, but if you notice, you mentioned that we didn't get enough rebounds, and it seems like Senegal out-rebound us. Nigeria had out-rebound us. They had 53 rebounds, and we had about 34 rebounds. And when you look at the team, you see that it's like they had size more than we did. Even from the point guard, we had a point guard like Bracco. We had even their big men could bounce the ball. Big men like Fall. But don't you think that this is something that our coaches should have looked into prior to this game?
Okay, yes, I still think a little bit of coaching in it. I didn't think our coaches, they did some adjustment during the game. I don't think the adjustment really, helped us, because when we're struggling, I think they would have done some adjustments to just change, give the Senegalese team a different look. So from that point of view, I might agree with you. But like I said, sometimes in a knockout field like this, you don't overreact to it. Yes, there's some things we could have done better. Like we had size too, like our team. It's not like our team was small, but on the day, I don't know. I think the hungrier team won it, because towards the second quarter and the third quarter, and if you see the fourth quarter, we're trying to come back, but the lead was so big that I just think at that point, Senegal already had control of the game.
Yes, like you said, in the first quarter, I think we ended it to 22-20 and we're up. But it seems like we carried the problems that we had from the Cameroon game, where we were leading with about 20-something points, and then they cut it down to less than 10 points in the last quarter. So it seems like from the Cameroon game up to the Senegal game, there must have been a problem in the team. Well, we might never know. But we have players on the Senegal side like Branco Badio, who scored 32 points, 12 of 20 from field goals, and Gil Jacques Boise also added 23 points, 5 of 10 from 3. It was like a 3-point party for the Senegalese team. What happened? Is it that because it was like Nigeria was playing Nigeria, because the game that we had when we were playing Cameroon, we were the ones lighting up the 3 points. But this time it seems like they were the ones that lit up the basket. Don't you think that we need to move away from just driving to the basket and starting to shoot 3 points, moving on to other tournaments?
I agree with you, but that's the funny thing. Actually we both scored the same amount of 3 points in yesterday game if you watched it. So it might look like, because if you look at the stat sheet and you look at the game, if you watch the game, we actually scored the same amount of 3 points. It was just at the time they made their runs and scored it, I think we started late. We didn't really start hitting 3 points at the time. But funny enough, we were efficient from 3 points. We had the same amount. I think we made 10 3 points, we made 10, and we shot around the same percentage. So, and even if you look at the free throws, it's the same thing. I think where they had the edge was their field goals. They scored more, layups, made a lot of layups, 2 points, which I think we missed, But like I said, the game was kind of, the scoreline doesn't really reflect, if someone just saw the scoreline this morning and woke up on like, Senegal doing Nigeria business. But if you watch the game, like I said, at some point I was a little shocked, like, how are we down with 10 points? How are we down with 15 points? Because the game looked close, but there were just sometimes there's some stretches we didn't really score, and those second chance points from the offensive rebound, just some of those moments, Senegal were clutch. Like I said, if you look at it, it's not like he did anything extraordinary from any side. There was nothing extraordinary he did. Like you say, okay, like you said, you're mentioning shooting, both shots is scored the same way, one the free throws the same way, and even they had more turnovers than us. So it wasn't a case of okay, we didn't handle the ball well. So it was one of those games I just think on the day.
The hungry side won.
I didn't watch the Cameroon game. But I went back yesterday and I was looking at the highlights. I think how we managed the lead, how we almost cut it down, was the problem. And but even going into this game, it wasn't like we had one big lead and we lost it. I just think at some really key time, we didn't really deliver. So I just think we need to go back, on the things we did wrong. I think the Nigerian Tiger team, surprisingly, because of many players we have abroad, because of these academies and programs, NBA programs in Africa, you have a lot of Nigerian players abroad. Even Senegalese players too. So when you see that Senegalese team, you could see a lot of the NBA, the Elevate program, NBA Africa camp. You could see the footprint in that Senegalese team. So I think we just need to, just go back and maybe reorganize ourselves better, because I think in November we start qualification for the FIBA qualification. So that's what I think we need.
Okay. But we looked at Nigeria defensively, and it seems like they struggled defensively. And we've also spoken about the shots, and you said it seemed to be equal. But Nigeria only shot 35.6% from the field. And it seemed like they could not even drive to the basket at some point. And if you even notice, at the beginning of the second quarter, they had about 3 points before having a 2 point, then had another 3 points again. So it seemed like they had strategic moments when they made those shots. And even at some points, Nigeria cut it down to 12 points. And when I was watching it, someone was with me and the person said, if Nigeria can just cut it down to 6 points, that they are going to take this game. But by the moment we looked at the score, it was like Nigeria, they were a shadow of themselves. But when you look at top scorers, like Ike Wamu, who had 15 points, Stan Okoye 14, Caleb Agada 12 points. What does this actually say about the present the Tigers team that we have at the moment?
I think, to be fair, I just think you need more time together, this team as a team. I think you need to play more games and competition together. They need a little bit of continuity. And I think going forward, we'll see improvements. Because when you look at it, they had a balanced performance. But
With
like 13, said,
with 13 turnovers, we had a balanced performance, Mr. Moody.
No, I think from the scoring end.
Okay.
I don't know, but Senegal had more turnovers. Sometimes turnovers can be misleading. You understand? Yes, turnovers are they are hot, but Senegal had more. You understand? But they scored the ball more. And then he mentioned one part. Yes, defensively, I think he struggled sometimes. I don't know if it was fatigue. Everybody was fatigued, so I won't put it there. But I think defensively we struggled. There were sometimes we couldn't just seem to score, and there were sometimes the Senegalese team, they just scored at ease, couldn't really make stops. And when you fall into that trap of a big lead, because I think it was 24 at one point, your margin for error now reduces. When you're playing catch up, the other team can conserve. They can rest and they can let's go back. So I think that's what we fell into. I think so going forward. I don't think we should manage the game that no matter how we're struggling, we shouldn't let the game go too far.
Okay. But if you looked at the performance of the Tigers, why do you think the Tigers were able to win the Afrobasket, even winning it back to back? But our guys could not win it just this time for us. What do you think? What do you think the difference is? Is it because it's female basketball, then we have male basketball, or is it that there is a hole or in that space?
I don't want to take anything away from the Tigers, but come on, it's the male basketball. There's a lot of competition. I will have to give credit to Angola. The Senegal is a very solid team. We have Mali, we have Mali, we have Cote d'Ivoire, we have Tunisia, we have Algeria, we have Angola. Angola is the host. They are not winning the tournament again. So what I'm saying is, on the men's side, it's really tight. It's really competitive. On the women's side, yes, on the women's side, you don't have that much depth in terms of competition. So then we have a very solid female team. So that's why we've been able to dominate seats in that sphere. But on the male side, it's very difficult for a team to just dominate. You saw Cameroon, solid team. So I think on the male side, you can't really blame the Tigers. So one will expect, because of when you look at the influx of our players abroad and the exploits they are doing on the male side, we should at least try and win one or two of these now and then. But on the male side, male basketball is really deep. You saw some teams, and when you started, you couldn't really put your money on who was. Yes, we all thought Tigers were going to go far, but you couldn't just put your money and say this was the team that's going to win it. And you could see the finals. We have Senegal and Mali.
Okay, and you mentioned, I remember this. Well, I won't say you mentioned anything, but what do I know? You are the basketball. You are the basketball analyst. So what do I know? Hello, can you hear me, Mr. Moody?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I said, what do I know? You are the basketball analyst, and I would have thought differently based on the way both teams were being managed. But what do I know? But the one that is paining me here is that our guys are not getting the $100,000. That's what it seems like. But thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Moody. Thank you so much. Time is fast spent, and just like the Tigers, we don't bounce out for today. From our studio in Abuja to Ogun State and Delta, big thanks to Abel Sunday and Moody for holding it down like strong defense. Whether na Umpuga or Afrobasket, the ball must bounce. And here on P&B Sports Show, we go talk am as e be. Till next time, this is Aaron Cottom signing out. And as we always say, no sports, no life. and no dull moments on P&B Sports Show.